Hello, guys. It's time. It is time for me to play in a new arena. I'm learning how to flood all of the social media. It's taking a lot of time and it's taken a lot of learning, and fortunately, I've had the downtime to be able to do so. I would like to start this by sharing my story with you and why I'm showing up in this space to teach you guys, to support you, to hold space for you. So I was a skin therapist for almost about 10 years prior to 2012. And when 2012 hit, I was hit with a major four-car accident. Now that accident truly wasn't an accident. It happened for a reason. And the reason it happened was because I was truly unfulfilled in the career path that I was actually in. I was constantly seeing people that were self-loathing, that were insecure, that really were seeking answers to their confidence, to their self-love from an external perspective. They were hoping that the right lipstick shade was going to do it, that the facial that they were getting was going to do it, that their eye makeup, their hair color, no more wrinkles, just perfection was going to fix it. And guess what? It never did. They came back month after month after month. Oh, and perfect nails. Maybe perfect nails will make it better. It doesn't, because after 3 weeks they fade and have to be done again. Nothing from an external perspective that anyone does is ever going to give them a sense of self-worth. I watched this for 10 years and I felt such a pull and desire to want to help people on a much deeper level because I saw the struggle. I saw what they were going through, not finding the resolution, the self-love that they were seeking by trying to get rid of their wrinkles, by having their fat frozen and zapped and getting shrink wrapped and getting microdermabrasion and laser treatments, and the list goes on. The things that women do to try to look better, to try to fit in, to try to compete with others. It just doesn't work. My desire to want to do more was what created that car accident, because I was paralyzed by fear. I had a 13-year-old at home at the time, and I didn't have the strength to take the risk, to put my 13-year-old child's well-being at risk. Also, the fear of failure was more than I could handle. So I stayed in that tiny little spa pampering people, wanting to help people on a much deeper level, not knowing how to do it, and too terrified to take the jump off the cliff and grow the wings on the way down. Now, after that car accident, I had a serious concussion, amongst many other injuries. My hips were shifted like this and like this. My spine was shifted. I had a whiplash. I had constant pain. And I had to be in a dark room with no sound all the time because the concussion was so bad. The pain was so much. And as a result of that, I was left with my own thoughts, wondering how this happened for me. And I kept asking myself that question over and over again. And I went on a healing journey. Now, at first, my healing journey was physical. It was not, obviously, with the capacity, the lack of capacity that I had to support myself intellectually. It was not an intellectual one. It was not a spiritual one. It was purely physical. And when I discovered the collagen protein and optimizing my glutathione were the answers to support my physical healing, then I was able to get to a place where I was able to focus on other things. Now, I didn't of my own volition turn to it. It actually took my father attempting suicide in 2015 and my partner's father at the same time, on the same day we received these phone calls. He had liver cancer. So we had to support my dad and get him into a facility where he could be looked after. And at the same time, we had to fly to Toronto and go spend time in the hospital to support my partner's father, who had just had major surgery and was in ICU, hooked up to all of the machines. Now, while I was on my healing journey as well, my lovely mother, who I do not get along with, actually convinced my son to move out and no longer live with me. So, oh yeah, and then I also had to move as well. There was just all sorts of stuff going on in my life, and it really made me question everything. Now, at the time, I was Christian, and my father, when he was in the facility and we had a conversation, he said something to me that completely took me out of my faith. I was no longer able to listen to it and believe it anymore. So I had to go on a journey to mourn the loss of who I thought I was going to be. That was dictated to me by my faith and gave me deep seated self loathing and insecurity. I was so self loathing being raised in that faith because I was denying myself. I was denying who I was to try to fit in with those people. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to name the particular faith. However, it was a horrible environment for me to own my power and to learn to love myself. So I ended up going on a journey. And at first, to find answers, I actually ended up going to like meditation groups and stuff like that. I ended up going to this one particular group where this woman was doing meditations and stuff. And she actually ended up doing a guided visualization. And when she was doing that guided visualization, I ended up going under pretty deep into hypnosis. I should say, I went into state feeling very lost and hopeless. I came out of state feeling like everything was going to be okay. I didn't know how, but everything was going to be okay. I don't know why I came to that conclusion. I don't know how I shifted to that. I just knew I came out of that hypnosis with a totally different mindset. Now, instead of working with the hypnotherapist, being the inquisitive mind that I am, I became a hypnotherapist. I wanted the answers for myself. I wanted to understand what was going on with my subconscious mind so that I could create a relationship with my own subconscious mind, so I could own my own power. I didn't have those words to describe that at the time, but that's essentially what I did. On that path, as I was practicing my hypnosis and such, I also ended up connecting with a particular client's trauma as I was in a hypnosis with that client. That trauma that I connected with was so incredibly intense, and I felt so powerless being able to support that person with the trauma that I ended up going on a path to reconnect with my spirituality, which very much is of my childhood. I've always been playing ever since I was a little girl in the spiritual realm, and I've always been connected. However, in order to be able to fit in and be normal like everybody else, I shut it down when I was about 19 years old. Now, going and connecting back with the healing journey and everything, obviously, I ended up engaging energetically again. However, I decided that I was going to do it on my own terms instead of having it dictated to me. So I ended up studying pranic healing, and I ended up studying emotion code and body code healing. And pranic was really great to help me just engage energetically. Emotion code, body code healing, which is based in kinesiological testing to find trapped emotions and release them. Kinesiology, being a science that's been around since 1960, is very well established, very, very well researched, and very supported by many doctors who are currently preaching and teaching about it. One of which is Dr. David R. Hawkins, who wrote Power versus Force. This was his life's work. He actually developed the map of consciousness, which was absolutely amazing, which I will totally share with you sometime. So I ended up really basing all of my work on hypnotherapy and then the emotion code, body code healing. And this is what I used as a trampoline to create the program that I ended up creating, that I've been working clients through for the last like 6 years. And then of course, when the pandemic hit, it changed everything for me. And I've been spending the last, I guess, probably year or so pivoting and developing all of my teachings and such online. Now it's time for me to start talking to you guys, sharing with you guys, teaching my teachings online. I know the people who know and love me have been crying for me to do this. And I did make a promise to one beautiful little goddess who poked and prodded me to get my butt over here. So I am committing, I am sharing my teachings, I am going to talk, as people know I love to do, and share my brilliance. And I really hope that it really supports you guys in being able to create emotional intelligence, energetic intelligence, and really helps you to be able to own your power. If you want to learn more about working with me, the links are just below in the description. And let's play together, guys. There's so much more to come. Thank you for holding space for me to share my story. And I look forward to being able to potentially hold space for you in the future one day. Take care, guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah.